And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest episode of Game Rivals. I'm one of your hosts, Maximilian X, and as always with me, I have the magnanimous, the robot hunting, Sean Templar. How's it going, Sean?
Yay! I'm good. How are you?
I am very good. Sorry, the titles were a bit short this one, but it's also been a very quiet couple of weeks in terms of gaming news. There were some highlights, but we'll get into them in a bit. We are barreling down E3. As you're listening to this, E3 is literally days away. So it's time to get that E3 hype train rolling. We're going to start off with some pre-E3 hype because we have a couple of news articles to talk about. The first thing I want to bring up is, of course, the hint that was already in the name for Sean, which is Horizon Forbidden West having a state of play. And I'm going to be honest, one of the best state of plays that I've watched.
I think you're not the only one that thought that. I think a lot of people think it was a good one. It was straightforward. They just showed gameplay. They told a little bit about the game. They introduced it, and then they just straightly jumped into a gameplay demo. I think they showed around 15 minutes of gameplay, and it looked amazing. It was running on PS5, and holy crap, it was. Besides it looking really, really, really nice, it just also it felt familiar, like Horizon Zero Dawn, but at the same time it had subtle changes that made it nice, such as, and a lot of people will say it has taken inspiration from Breath of the Wild. So there was a paraglider in it, for example, that a lot of people were like, oh yeah, they took that from Breath of the Wild. I'm like, well, no, because I know Breath of the Wild is not the only game that has paragliders. Far Cry had them as well.
But did Far Cry have them before or after Breath of the Wild?
Before in Far Cry 1, you could travel around the island with paragliders.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
But to be fair, they are
Eh,
kind of similar style
in
games.
Dutch, they say, beter goed gejat dan slecht gekopieerd. It's better to steal it well than to copy it bad, like a rough translation.
True.
So, I mean, nothing is new in games. Nobody comes up with new stuff. Everybody just steals each other's ideas and slightly tweaks it and makes it better. I mean, Halo came up with regenerative healing, and almost every game now uses that. So, yeah, I mean, I think it's important for the industry to grow and to innovate.
True. I mean, look
But
at
yeah,
Hype, but they haven't been original for like what, 50 years?
yeah, I mean, I'm personally really excited for Horizon Forbidden West. It looks amazing. It's cool to see that they've added like smaller tweaks to it, such as that you can add attachments. I think there are like one-use attachments to your spear that have different kinds of effects. So in one of the parts of the demo, Aloy was fighting against kind of like a brute, and she attached like a shock attachment to her spear, and she could use that to create an area of effect shock attack. That was really nice. There are big mammoths, or mumakils as I call them, just like in Lord of the Rings, that are ridden by people. So you have different ways to deal with that. You can swim now. That looked really nice. There's also some cool mechanics in there, like a strong current in the water that you have to keep into consideration, because it can just take you to other places when you're on the water. Also, different types of enemies. These enemy types felt more like Jurassic Park enemies, like reptiles and stuff like that. I like them going more towards the dinosaur kind of enemies or animals, instead of with Horizon Zero Dawn, they had like a far wider or normaler selection of animals, and the dinosaur animals felt like rare or special, such as
Yeah.
what's the T-Rex called again in Horizon Zero Dawn?
Oh, the what's it, the Rip or something?
I honestly don't know. I thought
Uh,
Sawtooth, but that's a tiger. That's the cheetah, the leopard kind.
yeah.
Anyways, so it looks like that they're going more in that direction. Um, I think they've also added more, like you can use the focus more to scan the environment and to see more of the environment, so you can use that in your advantage, such as climbing around. And I thought I liked the climbing in Horizon Zero Dawn, but I thought it was really limited because you could only climb on things they wanted you to climb on, and it was always highlighted with yellow. It looks the same, but a little bit more freedom here compared to Zero Dawn. So
Or they
um,
just hit it better.
it could be, yeah. I mean, I don't expect Assassin's Creed style climbing, but it does look like they've given you more freedom to climb and explore the environment.
Mm, mm,
And yeah, I mean, it went so fast, and it was really nice to see all. The game is set in San Francisco, from what I understood, which is nice because it's nice to see like a familiar landmark or a familiar spot. Um, in a game. Yeah, I sent you an article the other day in which they said that the game is, because they didn't announce a release date, but in that article I sent you, they said that the game is in beta. They have the game up and running. All they're doing right now is polishing the game, squashing bugs, giving some extra care and attention to some parts of the game they might have neglected. Um, so hopefully, this will be a 2021 release. I think November would be a nice sweet spot because that's just before the holidays and around Halo Infinite, because that's also going to drop probably this year.
hmm
Um, so at least then PlayStation will have a nice exclusive to go into the holiday season.
Yeah. Um, that is, was it in that same article or wasn't it? So, seeing as she went from the East Coast to the West Coast, and they are saying, or at least hinting that it's San Francisco, you know that they're gonna have whatever is left of the Golden Gate Bridge. They just have to.
Yeah, it's in there. I mean, in the initial announcement trailer, you saw it there. So
Wait, seriously? How did I miss that?
yeah, she rides on one of the animals, and you see the Golden Gate Bridge
Ah, gosh darn it! Of course,
in
there's.
the background. That's why I knew it was San Francisco. Otherwise, I would have never
Otherwise, you
guessed it.
wouldn't know. Yeah,
I was
that's
like, oh, it's some random place, you know.
yeah. Ah,
Maybe,
that might
maybe
mean
they'll
that.
throw.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no.
I said maybe you might actually be able to visit Alcatraz then, since you can
Yeah,
swim.
yeah, or maybe they throw in some Easter eggs for Silicon Valley or something, or who knows? Maybe you get to go to LA or something. I don't know. I don't know how big the world map is, but it's supposed to be really big.
Hmm. Well, maybe not too big. Don't forget, this is a cross-gen game.
Yeah, I saw the list of what the PS4 version will do, and it's like minor visual things. So it'll be like that the PS5 version just looks prettier, but like from a features point of view, they're both the same. They're not taking the Shadow of War approach or Shadow of Mordor approach. I remember when that came out, the Nemesis system was only available on the PS4 and the Xbox One, and the PS3 and Xbox 360 versions didn't have the Nemesis system. So like from a content and a features perspective, it's the same across both games. Um, I think it's like more like faster load times on the PS5, DualSense implementation, high res textures, high resolution. The PS5 version supports a 60 FPS mode if you want that. So it's more like it's almost like PC gaming. You get more bells and whistles the faster your hard or more powerful your hardware is.
It also sounds like the PlayStation 4 Pro.
Well, I don't know if they'll allow, for example, 60 FPS on the PS4 Pro. So
They can, they just probably won't do it for 4K. That would be the only difference.
well, I think with Horizon Zero Dawn on the PS4 Pro, it is one of, I don't know if there are other titles that do it still, but I remember that Horizon Zero Dawn was like the best title showcasing what the PS4 Pro can do from a technical point of view, because they used so many different techniques, and the game renders at 4K checkerboarding. And of course, people say, "Oh, well, 4K checkerboarding isn't 4K and it's cheating," but there's so much tech behind it that they actually pull off a really, really good 4K-ish image. And there's so much detail in the game. And they locked the game at 30 because they knew that if they were going to go to 60, they would have to scale the fidelity down, and they didn't want to do that. So I think the difference between the PS5 version and the PS4 Pro version might be smaller compared to the original PS4, but then again, I don't know how well the PS4 Pro sold. It doesn't feel like there are more of them out there compared to the original PS4 or the Slim.
No, I think that's because it came out pretty late, so I think it's significantly less. Also, don't forget price. Um, yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah.
They still say it's coming out this year.
Yep.
Um, they s- they're pretty far ahead, so I guess good signs unless they find a game-breaking bug.
I think
Who
it's in their
knows?
best interest to bring it out this year. So because if they don't, they
If
basically have
they
nothing going into the holiday season, and I think this is one of those holiday seasons that's crucial for them.
if they don't, they get the wrath of Sean Templar.
Well, not alone, not just my wrath, I'm afraid, but the wrath of the whole PlayStation community.
Yeah, but you live in the Netherlands. You could easily go to Guerrilla Games and yell at them in Dutch.
Yeah, but I won't do that. I mean, um, I'm always shocked when people do that, and it's a like a subtle segue into our next thing. But I'm
Mm.
always shocked when a game gets delayed that people. I understand that fans are really looking forward to stuff, and I understand that when they get disappointing news, they have to vent because that's the way it is. But I never understood why they have to go out and threaten somebody or a developer or vent towards them. um, some might have heard that God of War Ragnarok got pushed into 2022, which is unfortunate. But I think you and I both I think we've said it multiple times on this podcast that that game's
Don't
not going to
expect
come
it
out this
this
year.
year.
Yeah, it's not going to come out this year, and we kind of knew that. And I remember a writer at Sony Santa Monica. She posted like a message she got from a fan who was threatening her, and she said, "Like, oh wow, it feels like my inauguration. I'm officially now a game developer because I got threatened by somebody. I'm officially part of the gang now. I'm one of the guys." And I mean, she's smart and strong enough to just wave it off and see it as a joke and laugh about it. But I think the same thing happened to the people at CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk, and you hear this kind of behavior often. Again, I understand you're looking forward to stuff and you are disappointed, but it doesn't justify you threatening somebody or hating someone or cursing or whatever at someone.
It simply just does not give you the right to be a jerk. That's
Yeah,
that's what we're saying. It
you're
doesn't
not
give you the right to
entitled
be a
to it.
jerk.
Yeah, you're
Exactly. You're
not
not entitled
entitled.
to it. You're
Yep.
getting something that people are putting effort into. If
Yep.
it takes a little bit longer, you can wait just that little bit longer.
Yeah, because if the game came out and the game sucked, you would feel more disappointed and then you'd probably do the same. So in this case,
Exactly.
just be happy that they're willing to do it, because we all know that when God of War Ragnarok or whatever it's called, because they said Ragnarok's a working title, whenever it comes out, it will be an amazing game.
Exactly. Just look forward to it. Just anticipate it. Just keep, keep the excitement there. Just dial it down a little bit. Like just dial it down.
Yeah, because I mean, think about it this way: your behavior reflects on all of us. Because
Exactly.
what basically happens is people will say, "Oh, gamers, yeah, those are some aggressive kind of people. If they don't get what they want, they just throw a tantrum like a kid in a candy shop, not getting what they want, just screaming, crying, and shouting." It reflects on all of us. I mean, I'm happy that a lot of people can just act normal, but like games is always used as a scapegoat when something bad happens in the world. Then it's always like, oh yeah, that guy did a shooting, yeah, but he played a lot of GTA before, so that's probably where he got all the aggression from and learned how to do it. I'm like, no, stop blaming games for violence that happens. Maybe we should look at other things like how easy it is to acquire weapons or stuff like that. I mean, maybe we should look at stuff like that instead of blame games, for example. So, always just think it reflects on all of us. I mean, we would love to say things, and we were like, we're mostly like, maybe it's just wise not to say that. So, I mean, you know,
Mm. Yeah, I wish. There's like two dudes that I watch on YouTube, and they have like this best tagline. If you don't have anything good to say, just shut the S up. Like just shut the S up. No, not S. That makes no sense.
I was
Shut.
about to say that. What does
Yeah.
shut the
It's
S up?
yeah. I mean,
Shut the.
shut the F up.
Is it shut the suck up?
No, we're not going to the sock up. What are you talking about? No, but yeah, just if you have nothing good to say, just shut it.
Yep.
Because it's not doing anything good for you. It's not doing anything good for them. It's not doing any good for anybody.
Yep.
Just shut it. Let people do what they need to do and move on. And it's not like it's the only game that's coming out. And I know that people are excited. Just there are other stuff to play. I'm pretty sure you have a backlog of stuff that you haven't played yet. Play that first, and then come back and be excited for the new games.
But that's
Jeez.
easier said than done.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
And don't tell me like people don't have backlogs. People have backlogs, trust me.
Every gamer has a backlog.
Just how bad is your backlog? Maybe we should do an episode on that one time.
I think we should. We should. I think we should do like a box, and then you just grab something out of the box, and you're like, oh, this game. Oh yeah, I bought this game in 2001. I still haven't touched it. I don't. I
It's
have to
still in the
wipe the
shrink wrap.
Yeah, I have to wipe the dust off. Oh no, I have a dust allergy. Stuff like that.
Oh yeah, but yeah, that is it. Um, so E3 is it's already kind of sort of on the way. We already had some indie titles that got announced during the Gorilla Collective. A lot, by the way, a lot coming to the Switch, which is nice.
That it is.
Um, I don't have a list of it right now because I was not smart enough to look it up, but I know it's there.
It's okay.
So they're also gonna have another Gorilla Games Collective on Saturday. So we'll talk about that then when that's passed. But for now, what else do we have that we can talk about beforehand? That's right. So I actually have some breaking news.
Oh
So you remember last year we got the announcement of the remake of Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time.
no,
You also remember that they delayed it twice this
I know.
year. They delayed it again.
I know. I read it today.
2022.
Yeah, and they also said that it won't be shown at Ubisoft Forward in a couple of days. So
Yeah, so don't
yeah,
look forward to that.
yeah.
That was actually a pun that I did not intend.
Ah.
Yeah,
Uh,
just yeah, that's on the one hand, it's unfortunate. On the other hand, good because that game kind of needed some time in the cooker.
yeah.
Um, it wasn't looking so hot, if especially if you compare it to other like remakes and remasters, it's kind of poor. Um, so I mean, they back when they delayed it the first time, they said, "Oh, look what the progress relay." And it's like, yeah, you did a bit of texture work. It's fine, but it's still not. It doesn't
I
look like
mean,
something that's coming out in 2021.
it's good that they took the decision to do it.
Yeah, I mean it's always good to take the time needed to develop a game. Cyberpunk. Oh boy.
I'm afraid that Cyberpunk is kind of the laughing stock of the industry now. I read the other day that it's not performing as well as they hoped, seeing as it's been like a massive drop after the initial wave. So in the beginning, they were of course like, yeah, it sold even more than we expected, and we made all our money back. But
And
apparently
then
now it's started to drop off, and they're not even close to getting the PS4 version back on the PlayStation Store.
if
Uh,
ever,
well, but they probably will, but they're not close yet. So the what I read was that they have all their resources right now on Cyberpunk and the next gen version, and keeping the current gen version, polishing the current gen version. They're working on the Witcher next gen version, of course, the Witcher 3, which will be available as a free update. I'm really looking forward to it because never finished The Witcher 3. And then they have smaller teams doing pre-production on new stuff. Um, I don't know if they confirmed it. I don't know if it was a rumor or something, but I think they will try to get like a saving grace moment that they'll just try to make a new Witcher to kind of win back everybody's soul and say like, hey, this is our this is like, when you go to someone you want to make up, you bring flowers and chocolates, and think this is their way of doing that.
Yeah, so they also said that they wanted to move to parallel development
Yep.
now that their teams have grown and they bought an additional studio to add to their numbers.
Yep.
That's great, but considering the mismanagement of their last project, I think they really need to rethink stuff and reorganize and re-strategize.
I think they
Because
learned from their mistake.
oh no, I don't think I'm not saying that they haven't learned from their mistake. I'm saying that they haven't they haven't reorganized into how to do it better the next time. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the other thing is they're saying, "Oh yeah, we're on track to having the next gen versions of um uh, uh, Cyberpunk and The Witcher out by this year." First of all, finish Cyberpunk before you even attempt something like that. And I don't think anybody is going to lose sleep over that the next gen versions of those games aren't out yet. Because again, with Forbidden West and with God of War Ragnarok, both those games are going to be cross-gen games. And God of War is coming out in 2022, assuming. And that's gonna have a PlayStation 4 version in 2022. Okay, take your time. Nobody's in any rush to get next gen versions.
How
People
did
are
we go
getting a
from
hard time
Cyberpunk to God of War?
because I was talking about the next gen version and that they should
Oh,
ease up on trying to get it out by this year and just focus on fixing the game first before contemplating on making the next gen version available.
okay, yeah, yeah. But I think making the next gen version I mean, I think it's not that hard for them to do it because they're basically working on the same game and they're just creating a PS5 version while at the same time making improvements for the the PS4 versions and otherwise. And from what we understood, it's not like super difficult to switch from a PS4 version to a PS5 version, like scaling up to it. It's just more that um, I think what you're hinting at is like use all the resources you have to fix Cyberpunk and then focus on making a better version. But I think they have to do the PS5 version because there's a lot of people. I know a few people that are not playing Cyberpunk because there is no PS5 version. So, and I think a lot of
There's also
people.
no PS5, but sure.
I think the same could be said for the Xbox Series X version. Then,
Exactly. Yes. There's no X.
but
Well, I think there's a little bit more Xbox than PlayStation 5.
oh, I think that the supply, I don't know how it is now, but I think that the supply for the Xbox Series X will easily improve, but that's simply because
The
the
demand is not
demand
there.
the demand is not there. And I mean, I don't mean this in a way to jab or bash, even though from the inside I am smiling. Um,
And
but
on the
like
outside,
on the
they just
outside,
can't see it.
I'm just trying to condense it. No, but
Mhm.
like from I mean, I mentioned this before. If you saw a drop of PS5s, the price would be sky high on the secondhand market, and if you saw a drop of Xbox Series X's, the price would be like MSRP is 499 and people would sell it for 599. Well, then basically you know that there's not a strong demand for it. And then who knows, maybe this can work in their advantage, seeing as maybe they can sway PS5 owners that are still waiting for their PS5, and people will eventually say like, you know what, I don't care, man, I'll just buy an Xbox and I'll just get Game Pass, and then at least I have a console instead of waiting for that. It's almost like a unicorn, it's like I might see one, I might catch one, but I don't know. I mean, there's been drops again this week, and still hearing a lot of people saying like I wasn't able to get one.
Yeah, we have a mutual friend. Talked to him the other day, and he was like, "You know what? There are not any games that I want to play right now, so I'm just gonna chill and not focus on that anymore because it's just too disappointing to try every single time. And I know you know who I'm talking about. It's the friend of ours who gets super excited. Big fan of the podcast.
Ah, yes, 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 yes. I
Yeah,
know who you. Yes.
yeah. So he's like, nah. I'm just gonna wait. There's nothing that I want to play right away, anyways, on the PlayStation 5. So I'm just gonna wait. No, there's no rush. Even though he was really excited to get it.
I mean, I think that's the initial. It's either the hype or there's a part of FOMO that a lot of people around you are maybe talking about it or getting buzzed about it, and then you're automatically like, oh, I want one as well, because I got mine in the second drop, which was in December. So like 2 weeks after, or 2 or 3 weeks after it came out, there was like a second shipment, and mine was in there, and I got it. And I played Miles Morales. I played Astrobot, and then in January there was a PS Store sale, and I got Valhalla for like 40 euros. And then that was the last game I bought on my PS5. And then after I finished Valhalla, I basically didn't play on my PS5. Or if I wanted to play a PS4 game and it sucked because it had some issues, because I've had with, for example, with Yakuza Kiwami 2, I tried to play that on PS5 and I would get all sorts of graphical issues. So I switched back to the PS4 version. But then the first game I bought for my PS5 was Returnal in April. So meaning that from
Mhm.
January till April, those 3 months, I didn't buy anything for my PS5 simply because there wasn't a lot of stuff there. And that's normal with every console launch, because
Mm.
it's not that Xbox had like a lot of games in that period. But at that moment, I really had like, yeah, it's just the hype and the excitement and people around you that are just talking about it. Um, and I said to people, like, if people ask me, hey, do we have a PS5? I said like, hey, I have a PS5. I don't want to sound as a snob. I don't want to um, sympathize with you, and say like, downplay it and say like, oh, it's okay that you don't have one. But I said like, hey, it's okay that you don't have one, because there's barely something to play on it. So it's maybe better to get one later if you can, because that way you at least have some games to play on. Because now you're kind of getting into that machine of, we got Returnal, we got Mass Effect, we're getting Ratchet and Clank this week, we're getting Kenna next month, we're getting some other game I'm probably forgetting. But like slowly it is ramping up, and we are getting more and more games. You're getting Final Fantasy VII Integrate or Interlude or whatever it's called. So it is slowly picking up right now. So now is the perfect time to want a
Oh yeah,
PS5.
Integrate is literally coming out like in a couple of weeks or this week,
I think
next
is
week.
around this time. Yeah.
Yeah,
So like it is slowly ramping up, and now is like an okay time to want a PS5 or to get one. Um, so yeah, basically that, and it's not like you're gonna miss out hugely uh, if you haven't had one in the past few months.
true, true, true.
Yeah,
Um, on the other hand, you also have oh my gosh, why did it just fly out of my mind right now?
I don't know.
Oh, right. I mean, on the other hand, you also have games that were exclusive, not being exclusive anymore. Because I don't know if it was, I don't remember the article. I think it was like a data mine or something on the PlayStation page on Steam, but it was revealed that a lot more PlayStation titles are coming to Steam. We're probably going to get an announcement during the PC's showcase because I'm pretty sure that Valve will be there as well. I think maybe, I'm not sure. I don't think they've ever been there. I don't know. But we might get an announcement there, or Sony might have a state of play after E3. We don't know what Sony is doing actually. Um, but one of the things that they showed there or was revealed there, one of the slots that was already filled in was Uncharted 4,
I know.
which is huge.
It's pretty big, and I hope that if they pull that off, they also do like a PS5 patch, because everybody is waiting for that. For as well as for Horizon Zero Dawn getting
But
a
that hasn't
PS5
been
patch.
patched yet.
Oh,
Oh, right. I'm thinking about Last of Us.
Yep.
Right, right,
I
right.
hope the PS5 of the Horizon Zero Dawn gets a PS5 patch. Funnily enough, there is trigger support in it in Horizon Zero Dawn. So when you rack your bow, you can feel the tension happening in the triggers. So I
Hmm.
don't know why that is there, but there's no
But
any
nothing
other
else.
nothing else. No, no. Yeah, but I mean, Sony has said that, and I think that I don't know the sales figures for Horizon Zero Dawn on PC, but Sony has said in like a recent investor meeting that the PlayStation brand is super important for them, and that they will try to grow the brand to other sides of instead of just mainly focusing on PlayStation consoles. So I don't think it's going to be strange to see more and more PS4 games coming to PC, or
Hmm.
maybe having deals that PS5 games come to PC as well, such as Deathloop. And in the end, the gamers all benefit from it because people that don't buy consoles and only play on PCs can now enjoy these games as well,
Hmm.
which is in the end better for us all.
Yeah, it is. Another thing that is also potentially not being an exclusive anymore, the medium.
I saw that one, and I wonder if
It got an ESRB rating, which means like
yeah,
if it gets a rating, it's not
yeah,
fiction anymore. You can look it up in on the ESRB website.
yeah. I wonder if it sold well enough because the medium only came out in January.
Probably not.
So
That's why they're probably doing this.
yeah, so like if it has an exclusivity deal, is the exclusive deal that short, like maybe 6 months or something? Because that
It
would be a
wasn't a
pretty
launch title, dude.
yeah, but it came out in January. We're in June now. So
Oh,
let's
that
say
oh yeah,
that
that
the
is 6 months.
yeah, that the deal is like 6 months, so that it maybe comes out in the summer. Uh, I don't know if that is like a super. I don't know if it helped Microsoft or boosted Microsoft's um, sales that much.
I don't know. Why can't I find it on Peggy? Weird. I thought maybe let's look if it's on the Peggy website, but I typed medium and it's not showing up there, which is super weird.
Okay.
So maybe I'm doing something wrong, but the Peggy website has always been kind of iffy. Anyway, it is on ESIB, so we know that much. So I think we're gonna see an announcement at E3. Um, outside of that, I think we've covered most stuff.
Do you have any predictions for E3?
Oh boy, howdy, do I have them? Um, okay, so here's the thing with this year's E3, right? Considering how everything is and that it's all digital and we have different events during different days. So if I pull up real quickly here the schedule for all the press conferences, we're gonna obviously start with the kickoff of Summer of Games on Thursday, June 10th, which is it's gonna be the whole thing. You know, you're gonna have like Double Fine doing the Days of Death stuff, and I am 8-bit. The next day, the 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 parent company of Deep Silver, Coke Media, is having an event. So we're probably gonna see stuff about Dead Island 2 and Chivalry and a bunch of other stuff from them. Um, like I said before, the Guerrilla Collective is also no, it's not on the same day. It's the day after on June 12th, when they have that. But Netflix is doing stuff. And there have been rumors, I think we talked about it in a previous episode. There have been rumors about them um doing something in
Yeah,
games. Like
yeah.
as in either publishing games. I'm assuming publishing games, not actually developing games. And it's not like they haven't done it before. We've had the Stranger Thing games happen on smartphones. And I think season 3 had a game on like consoles and PC. Um, of course, you have the Witcher series, you have the Castlevania series. They're working on a bunch of other game related stuff. You know, there's a Sonic the Hedgehog series, Sonic Prime. They might talk about that. I think Sonic Prime is coming to Netflix. think that's a Netflix show. Yeah. Um, so there's that. There's a bunch of other stuff. So I think they might show stuff like that off. Um, I don't think you have to expect them to say we're opening a development studio. If they do, I'm out. If they say we're opening a studio, I am out. I am stopping that stream and I'm gonna play some Monster Hunter to like release some pressure because that is not cool. I'm sick
Mm.
and tired of I'm sick and tired of companies thinking that game development or managing a game dev studio is easy and putting out a game is easy. It's not. Amazon has tried it 4 times and they still have 0 games to show for it.
I think it's just simply because everybody wants a slice or a piece of the pie, and it's a really big, lucrative pie.
The pie is getting okay, the pie is big, but the slivers are getting smaller.
Yeah, I mean, it. I think that uh, considering last year, I think that the games industry is maybe one of the few, if not the only industry that has probably kept on doing well. Unlike movies, for example, that are that. But the last movie I watched in the cinemas is Tenet, and
Oh,
after
you
that,
actually saw one after Sonic. Okay.
I didn't watch the Sonic movie. So
Yeah, the last one I saw was Sonic
okay. Well, I watched Tenet, and
in
that was last
March.
year in the summer. And after that, I haven't been to the cinemas. And now last week it opened up, and like people were like, "Oh, should we go to the cinemas?" I'm like, "Watch what? There's nothing to watch because
Demon
there's
Slayer.
yeah no." But there's nothing to watch, so you know. And we're like, it's fun, and as I was like, yeah, no, no.
Also, Thingy's coming out soon, Black Widow, if you're a Marvel fan.
But also, it's also coming to Disney Plus on day and date.
Yeah, but it's $30 if you want to play it on if you watch it on Disney Plus.
Is it?
Yeah, it's coming to the prime the premium stuff.
Oh, I didn't know there was a premium tier.
Yeah, so it's not a premium tier, but basically movies that are supposed to come out in the movie theater will either get a release on Disney Plus without additional cost, but like the stuff that they really want to highlight that was supposed to come into the movies, they'll charge you $30 to watch it. They
Mm.
did that for Mulan. They did that for Raya and the Last Dragon. They're doing that now for Cruella. I wouldn't be surprised if they also did that for Black Widow
But then the
because it's
fact
an
that
anticipated movie.
But the fact that people are buying it only confirms it for them, so they keep on doing it. Because if people wouldn't buy it,
Then they
they'll
would
be
have
like,
stopped
yeah, then they
after
would
the
be like,
first
oh,
movie.
okay. Yeah, so basically, we're causing the issue ourselves.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I waited for 3 months so I could finally watch Raya and the Last Dragon. It was a good movie, not €30 worth, but it was a good movie.
Nice.
Like if I went to see it in the movie theater, I would have still been happy to have paid the $20.
That's
Seriously,
nice.
movies are so expensive, man. Jeez.
It's funny because Steven Spielberg, like I think it's maybe 10 years ago, he made a prediction and he said that there's going to be this point where going to the movies is going to be like going to the theater. It's like a luxury experience, and your movie ticket is not going to be like $10. It's going to be like $30 or $40, but it won't be just watching a movie. It will be like a whole experience around it. So going to the movies is going to become a luxury thing instead of a fun social thing. And if you look at where the industry is trending towards now, with I think that a lot of studios have said that they're cutting down the time that a movie spends in theaters. So, for example, Disney has said that all of their movies will either come to Disney Plus day and date that it comes out in the theaters, or it will get a 45-day release in the theaters instead of the 90 it normally gets, and then automatically go to Disney Plus. And a lot of studios are following suit. So um, I think the pandemic proved that old ways of earning money are not the same anymore because revenue streams just simply drop off and that they need to innovate. And this is kind of the solution they came up with.
Yep. Also, they don't have to share the revenue if they use the premium stuff. All the
Yep.
$30 goes straight to Disney.
Yep.
So yeah. Outside of that, we were talking about predictions. Yeesh.
Yeah.
How do we keep doing this every time?
I have no idea.
um Yeah, so I think with Ubisoft, wow, we actually missed another article about Ubisoft. Also, a bit of breaking news, since they're working on I don't remember what are they working on again? Like a
A
first person,
game,
a game that is
a mix
part.
between The Division, Splinter Cell, and something, and a Ghost Recon.
I have no idea what that's supposed to look like, but
I don't
I
know
can
that
see
either.
that going really wrong, really fast.
Yeah. I mean, I think they'll probably show off that free-to-play Division game they announced earlier this month,
Yeah.
seeing as there was a technical alpha that leaked out. So I think they will show that.
Mm.
They'll go probably more in on Far Cry 6. I mean, I saw the gameplay reveal last week, and it got me excited for a Far Cry game. 'Cause after 3, I kind of skipped out on all of them because they all looked and felt the same. Um, but with 6, I'm actually pretty excited.
Yeah. Uh, I'm curious. Yeah, it looked good. Oh, wow. They did do that, didn't they? They
Yep.
showed it off.
Yeah. And there were some rumors earlier in the years that there was going to be a smaller Assassin's Creed title. But the rumors on that have gone pretty silent. So I don't think they're going to show Assassin's Creed this E3. But they haven't confirmed because the last time they said we're not going to do anything around Assassin's Creed. It'll be 2 years before you see something around Assassin's Creed, and then we got Valhalla after 2 years.
Mhm.
So the word on Assassin's Creed is pretty silent.
Last year was a pretty stacked year for Ubisoft. So I think this year is going to be a little bit more mild. We're probably going to see a lot more
Free to play
uh
experiences.
well, free to play experiences, but also more family oriented experiences because in their off year they tend to focus more on like more inclusive stuff than specifically hardcore gaming stuff. Um, so I think that's gonna happen with Ubisoft. So there's not a lot to talk about with Ubisoft because of that. Next up is Bethesda Xbox or Xbox.
I'm scared to watch that one.
The only thing I'm scared of is that it's gonna say exclusively Xbox and me just slowly dying a little bit. No, no, not necessarily because it's also gonna come to PC and then they're gonna say, well, it's not coming to GeForce now, so you'll have to pay for Game Pass
I,
Ultimate.
I wouldn't be surprised if they announce an acquisition of a Japanese developer or a Japanese studio.
If they do, I'm gonna cry.
I'm afraid that they're going to announce an exclusive game for Xbox made by Kojima Productions because that rumor is floating around more and more. And I've said it to you and a couple of other people. I will not buy an Xbox. So I'll probably have to wait for a PC release if it comes to PC, which they'll
Yeah,
probably
just get Game Pass Ultimate and play it through xCloud.
yeah. But
Oh yeah,
we're
so xCloud.
yes.
That's gonna it's probably gonna be a really big thing at this E3.
I think so too because I think they're either beta testing it or they've said that there's like this browser version of xCloud that you can just play it
They're
through the
beta testing
browser.
that one now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So
so
I think
happy.
yeah, that's basically your GeForce Now. A friend of mine is beta testing it and he says it doesn't work as well as playing it on the console, but it's a good beginning, he said.
I mean, it's still in beta, so it's gonna take some time. They better
Yeah.
take their time. I really hope they take their time because, like, GeForce Now took their time. Google Stadia did not take their time. They didn't take. They took zero time.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
think we'll probably see more from Starfield, which I'm pretty excited about.
I think we'll finally see something about Starfield.
Yeah.
Um, we're not gonna see anything about Elder Scrolls 6. So
Mm,
whatever people thinking about Elder Scrolls 6, stop. Like I'm telling you right now, people, stop. You ain't seeing
yeah.
anything about Elder Scrolls 3. If they do show something, at best, it's a logo. Again,
But they
don't
showed a
expect
teaser
anything.
trailer the last time, so
Yeah, but that was like geometry. Anybody can make that. You can put some speed trees in there and you're done.
um, I guess so. Funny thing is I read an article Havoc wrote, our friend, our
Mhm.
Xbox friend, and in it he said that um, there are rumors that Microsoft has teamed up with LucasArts and that they're making a game around the Mandalorian. I have missed this rumor completely, so I have no idea
What?
where this is coming from. But
Of course, he's like the Star Wars guy, so of course he's on top of it.
yeah, so it came out in his article. I saw it, and I said to him like, "Is this for real? Is it? There are rumors floating around that this might happen."
What would you base it for on? The show? Is it a prequel?
No, it's based on the show.
Yeah, but is it like a prequel? Is it like an
I have no
adaptation of
idea.
the show? Because you
I
can't
have no
really
idea.
adapt the show unless you're doing, I don't know, a visual novel or something, or a
Uh,
very slow adventure game.
Well, I mean, I can see it becoming an open world game in which you're on a quest to deliver baby Grogu, and then there are a lot more planets you can visit. You can take up bounty missions to earn money to upgrade your gear, and then you get missions. You get like main story missions that focus on the TV show, or I don't know. They'll figure out something.
If it's true,
Yeah.
that would be interesting. If it's true,
But they get that did get the Indiana Jones license, so why wouldn't they get the Mandalorian license?
yeah, that's also crazy.
And they have a huge bag of money, so
Here's a sack of money. Can we please do this?
of course, here's our IP. Do whatever you want with it. Just make sure that you don't mess it up.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if it's gonna be like Fallen Order.
I honestly don't know, but that's like a completely different game and a completely different team inspiration because Fallen Order felt a lot like
Dark Souls.
Uncharted slash God of War meets Dark Souls. That's maybe also because Stig Amerson, or I don't know how to pronounce the name properly, was the game director on God of War 3. So a lot of inspiration from there. Funnily enough, EA is not doing anything with E3. They're just doing the Battlefield 6 reveal in 2 days. And then in July next month, they have EA Play. So we might see Fallen Order 2 there, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have Fallen Order now, they will release a next gen version in the summer, and you get a free upgrade for it
Oh,
already.
that's nice of them for once.
Yeah.
I know we bag on EA a lot, but that's because they kind of earned it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, it's actually funny that this last generation, from all the third party publishers, I think the Ubisoft was the best one because they kept on taking risks. They kept on coming out with either new IPs or trying to reinvent their current IPs.
Hmm.
Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But I cannot remember a proper game coming out of the stable of EA this last generation. Maybe It Takes Two, or maybe A Way Apart, A Way Out, but those are basically games they just published. They didn't develop themselves.
Mm,
Battlefield 5 was okay. Battlefield 1 was really good, so that's maybe one, but not like anything big besides
yeah,
that.
yeah. Uh, I guess. I mean, I guess time will tell. We'll see, right?
Oh yeah, and
Uh,
Fallen Order, of course,
and Fallen Order, yeah,
and Titanfall 2.
and Titanfall
Okay,
2,
so maybe you can count on the one
yeah,
hand.
yeah.
That's still not a lot.
Maybe they'll do Titanfall 3.
Well, they've said that they're not done with the Titanfall IP, and that they're definitely working on stuff besides Apex Legends.
Yeah,
Which is
that's
bit,
good.
which It's been a while since I played Apex. I think the game is like completely changed since it
Oh
originally
yeah,
came
they added
out.
like new. They added a new game mode. It's like completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they changed the map too. So
Mm.
you might not be familiar with how the map is now. I played it a while ago when it came out for Switch. Um, it's fine on. I think I said it before back then too. It's fine, but you can definitely tell that they took some hits. It's in that Witcher 3 range of taking a lot of cuts.
Mm.
So
Okay.
um I don't know what's gonna happen with that version. They're still supporting it 1-to-1, so it has all the same game features. It just doesn't look as pretty.
I mean, I bought The Witcher 3 on the Switch
Yeah, how's
because I
that
thought like
been? Yeah. for you.
I haven't played a lot because I fired it up and I was a bit disappointed with how it looked graphically. I mean, it basically looks like, and I haven't played a lot of it, but it looks like a lot of stuff has just been blurred out.
Hmm.
So I just played it in on handheld mode, and I was like, I don't know if I want to play this. I haven't played it in docked mode yet, so I'll give it a try. But
Did you transfer your save file?
oh no, I didn't.
Okay.
So I started from scratch, but I was a bit disappointed on the visuals, and I know that I shouldn't expect much, but at the same time, I was like, people were kind of enthusiastic about it because they pulled off The Witcher on the Switch. I was like, well, then they must have done something well. Um, but I kind of got disappointed, so now I'm like, you know what? I'll just wait for the next gen version and pay it later on PS5.
Hmm. I mean, the miracle is that they got it running at all, so that's the big achievement. Not that it looks pretty, it's just that it runs.
Yeah,
That's a big achievement. That's
yeah,
also a big achievement for a different reason, but it's still an achievement.
yeah.
So Square Enix is having an event, so that's going to be interesting to see. They'll probably talk about Final Fantasy Integrate.
Maybe
I
the new
don't,
Final Fantasy.
I don't think they're good. Oh yeah, they might talk about Final Fantasy 16 because we haven't seen anything since they announced it.
Yep. And
Um,
that new IP, I forget what the new name is, but the working title is Project Athia or something like that.
oh yeah, that got a new name, didn't it?
They got a name. I don't know what it is, but I think
Was it
they'll might.
something with a T?
I have no idea, but they'll
Uh,
probably show that off.
Oh,
Uh,
definitely, because they only showed off a little bit, like with the actress. So
Yep. And they're apparently doing more.
Forspoken, Forspoken.
That one for spoken.
Yeah.
And
Damn, that
there's
game
going
looks
to
pretty.
be a new IP announcement from Eidos Montreal, which is the studio
Really?
that made Deus Ex.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope a third game in that franchise would be really nice.
Mm-hmm. That would be really nice. It's been a while. I tried
Uh,
playing the first game on GeForce Now, and I don't know why, but I do not like the gameplay. Maybe I
I
should
st-
maybe I should do it again because I just used my Steam save file, so it picked up where I left off, and I
uh,
was really disoriented. But it was literally
yeah,
at the beginning of the game, so I don't know. Maybe I should start a new save file and see how that goes. But I was not really happy with the gameplay feel.
I um I bought Mankind Divided like when it came out, and
Mm.
I've tried since then. I've tried to play it 3 times, and every time starting over because I can't remember what I was, and every time I just stop after a couple of hours. So, but it was a really good game. I mean, it
Oh,
reviewed
it's
pretty well.
oh yeah. I mean, I'm assuming that it's a good game because a lot of people are raving about it. I just did not like the gameplay feel, but maybe I should just start over with the tutorial and stuff. I don't know.
I think so as well.
To be fair, I played it once and it wasn't running well on my computer, so I stopped and I didn't play it until I got GeForce Now. So that was a couple of years in between.
Okay.
Um, yeah. So outside of that, it's Square Enix. Oh yeah, they're probably gonna show more of uh Project Triangle Strategy because of course they are.
Yep. And
Um,
Avengers as well.
Event. Oh yeah. Wow, that thing still exists, huh? Doesn't it?
Yep.
Awkward.
Remember how I said at the E3 where they showed the gameplay demo that I said that this game was gonna tank?
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, they're gonna show off more the indie stuff. Take Two has stuff to show. Capcom has stuff to show, which is gonna be interesting. I don't know what they're gonna show.
I think they're gonna do a Resident Evil 4 remake, like they did
Oh
with
yeah, there was a
Resident Evil
rumor.
1, 2, and
Yeah,
3.
they might show off Resident Evil 4 VR since they announced it, but they haven't showed it yet.
Oh,
So
I
they
didn't
might
know
show
that
that.
was
Oh, you
that it
didn't
was in
know?
development. No, I didn't know it
Yeah,
was in development. I mean, Resident Evil 4 basically has become like Skyrim for me. It runs on a potato because it just comes to everything there is. So,
it's not
I
as
mean,
bad as Skyrim, man.
yeah, I'm just not
But
surprised
it's still
anymore.
pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's still pretty bad.
And
It's
probably people buy it because otherwise they wouldn't release it on so many platforms.
I'm not gonna lie. If they announce a remake and they actually pull it off and put it on the Switch, I'm gonna get it. Even if
I
they don't put it on the Switch, I'm probably gonna. No,
I
wait. Can
played the
you also
original on PS2, and after that, I've never touched it again.
if they put it out on PS4, I might do it then. But
Oh, I know you will.
yeah, because I love that game. That was my first Resident Evil. I love that game so much.
Yeah, me too. I played it on PS2, and after that, I never touched it again.
And it makes sense considering that they took inspiration from Resident Evil 4 for Village. So
Yeah.
it's like, hey, look at the inspiration for Village. Here's Resident Evil 4. And meet Leon S. Kennedy. And oh, speaking of which, considering that they're also making a new Netflix series for Resident Evil that stars Leon
Mhm.
and I think Jill Valentine.
I don't know.
So that would be like a great like tie-in multimedia mumbo jumbo thing. Um, so that's gonna be interesting. And of course, last but definitely not least, Nintendo and Namco Bandai. Now, quickly think Namco Bandai, they have their fingers in a lot of stuff, so it's kind of curious to see what they're gonna be putting out. I have no idea what they're going to be doing because they do a lot of things lately and worked with a lot of other companies, including Nintendo. Nintendo, I've especially avoided rumors for that for the longest time because I was
So
like,
let me quickly brief you on what's going on right
I
now in
swear, if you
Rumorland.
bring up any rumors, I will end this right now. I will end the recording. I'm just
Okay,
gonna bring up
don't.
my predictions. I don't want
Let me put it this
anything.
way: you won't hurt me, but you'll hurt all the fans that are listening if you end this recording.
If the fans are patient, like I said, they'll
No,
get
but
the
not
good
everybody
stuff
is
when it's
like you.
there. Yes.
Not no,
No,
not
but people
everybody's
have to
like you.
learn. I don't want to hear it.
You're the guy that goes to the movie theater, and then when the trailers start to roll, you're like, la 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 la
Oh,
la la. I
yes.
don't want to
Yeah.
hear this.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
do it,
like,
but I only do it for Marvel movies.
well, seeing as there are not a lot of those happening anymore.
Yeah. So
I think, I mean, I'm honest. I think Nintendo is going to announce hardware. They said they wouldn't, but I mean, like, come on. They said they wouldn't do anything around hardware this year, and there are so many rumors. There are so many listings popping up on all sorts of retail sites. I think I mean, there are parts leaking out. There's codes showing stuff. I mean, it's not something they can get around.
hmm. Well, outside of that, there are a bunch of games that I am hoping that they talk about. They have to talk. I feel that at this point they have to talk about um
Breath of the Wild
at
2.
least like the 35th anniversary stuff for Zelda,
Hmm.
including Breath of the Wild sequel, um, whatever other games they're gonna put. Because I think if you're just going to for an anniversary title, you're gonna do only Skyward Sword. That would be kind of an injustice. Because like a Link Between Worlds would be awesome on Switch. If they did it in the art style of Link's Awakening, that would be really nice because that was a really fun and pretty game.
Yeah.
Um, if they, I was kind of hoping they would do Minish Cap, but I don't think they're gonna do that, which is kind of a shame. Also, it's one of those Capcom made games, so I don't think they're gonna touch that. They're also not gonna do anything with because that's 20 years old uh this year. The Oracle of Ages and Seasons games. Those are 20 years old, so they're also having an anniversary on that. If they wanted to, they could have done it, but I don't think they're gonna do that. Um, Especially since it's two games, not just one. Uh, they probably will show off some merchandising stuff with Zelda, unless they're going to announce a separate Zelda 35th anniversary direct. That is also a possibility. I'm pretty sure that at Capcom and Nintendo, we're going to see more Monster Hunter stuff, specifically Monster Hunter Rise and Monster Hunter Stories 2. We're probably, hopefully, going to see some 35th anniversary stuff from Metroid. Hopefully, we'll finally see something from Metroid Prime 4. Don't hold your breath on Bayonetta 3 because that has been very silent. They are still working on it. Hideki Kamiya has said as much. They're still working on it. It's not been delayed. Well, it's not been delayed as in we don't know a date yet, so how can it be delayed? But they're working on it and it's going well according to him. So I'll take the guy's word for it. I don't want to get banned on Twitter. Um, I don't want him to ban me. Um, what else? We'll hopefully see more of Splatoon 3, which I'm very excited about because I love the Splatoon series. Um, I don't know if they'll do something for Donkey Kong because that is also having an anniversary this year. Gosh darn, they have a lot of anniversaries. They did, however, announce that they're opening a museum in Japan for Nintendo,
I read that.
and it looks pretty awesome, and the idea is really cool.
Yeah.
So another reason for me to go back to Japan when that opens up as well.
Okay.
Um, I don't know if they're gonna talk about anything else other than like the anniversary stuff, maybe some unexpected games like they did with Famicom Detective Club. That would be really nice. Although I can't really think of other titles that have only had a Japan only release that people are aware of. I would like to see that they do another Fire Emblem Echoes title, but this time for one of the Super Nintendo. No, for another Super Nintendo Fire Emblem that never came out in the West. 3 377, which is the first Fire Emblem that had the whole relationship system built into it, where you could have kids and they could take over traits and stuff like that. The story in that is really cool, so I kind of hope that they do that. Outside of that, I don't really know what else they could announce. Maybe some Pokemon stuff. Hopefully, some more information on like Detective Pikachu 2 or the new Detective Pikachu game that's coming to Switch. We don't know if it's a remake of the 3DS version or if it's a completely new title. They just announced it and then they said nothing. Seems to be a theme these days. Um,
I think you've said so much as in predictions. I hope something sticks.
I hope something sticks. I really do. I really do. I do hope we see more titles for for the PlayStation 5 though.
I think
Because
that that's
at least from third party developers, since Sony is not saying anything right now, that is a little bit worrying though still.
I think they're participating in Summer Games Fest, or at least
Are they?
in the opening night thing. I
Uh,
think they do because I saw their logo. But I hope that they do something around E3. It would be strange if they didn't, because then they're basically giving Microsoft and Nintendo the spotlight again. And especially in a year of a new hardware release heading into its second day holiday season, you want people to get extra pumped for that holiday season.
yeah, you do. I think that's it. Do you have any other predictions that you have?
Nah, just gonna wait and see.
All right. So that is it for the first half. Stick around. We'll be right back with the second half, which is, of course, what we've been playing. And we're back with the second segment, which is, of course, what we've been playing. So, Sean Templar, what have you been playing?
I have been putting more time into Formula One 2020. I started the My Team mode, so I explained this earlier. You're the 11th team on the grid. You choose an engine supplier, and you choose a teammate, and basically you have to on a lower level manage the team, but at the same time you're also one of the drivers of the team. So you earn points in the free practices of the race, and you can use those points to invest in the development of your car, for example, in multiple areas such as the engine or the chassis or the durability or the aerodynamics. Um, and then you get sponsors, for example, and if you meet the requirements of the sponsors, they give you money, and with that money you can upgrade stuff. So um, I think I'm in the 11th or I'm in at the 12th race of the 22. So just past the half mark. The funny thing is that um, it looks like the opposite world compared to the real world. So, for example, last season, the Ferrari car was one of the worst cars on the grid. In the My Team mode, the Ferrari car is one of the best cars on the grid, so I don't know what's happening there. Um, in real life, Valtteri Bottas, who is the second driver of Mercedes, I would say he's a good driver, but his performance lately has been okay. Well, in the mode that I'm playing in, he is better than Lewis Hamilton, or at least he's scoring higher than Lewis Hamilton, which has I think never happened before. Um, and for some reason, my car is supposed to be one of the slowest cars on the grid, but I am, I guess, lucky enough. But when I do a race, I try to do one every day or every so often in a week. I managed to get either close in the top three and finish on the podium, or like really like a fourth or fifth spot. Whereas if you look at the metric of the game, my car shouldn't even be near that position. So I don't know what's going on, why my car is performing that well. The one funny thing is if you're doing practice sessions, which you always have to do, there are three practice sessions, and you can complete objectives in those sessions. You can also choose a setup for your car. So more downforce equals less speed, but easier and more nimble handling. More speed means less downforce, meaning your car is stiffer, so it's harder in the corners. I have. You can also choose a balanced setup. I have a faster setup, which should mean that my car is worse or a little bit worse to drive. But for some reason, I think I did an upgrade to my car somewhere, and my car is actually performing better if I choose that higher setup, even in corners. So I'm not
Hmm.
experiencing the downsides of the faster setup. Um, I don't know what's happening, so it's really helping me out. um, I'm playing it on my PS4 with a controller. There's a friend of mine who bought like this really pro racing steer and a rig and all that stuff. So I'm gonna buy his old steering wheel. So at the end of the month, I'll probably have a steering wheel. So kind of hope to get a bit more practice in with that. The other week there was a preview event for F1 2021.
Oh,
Um, so I'm not sure. I might buy it on release on PC. There's, for example, a co-op career mode in it, so you can play either with another friend at the same team, or you can choose competing teams and drive against each other in the same league. Um, they're
is that
doing all
online
the
co-op?
yeah, it's online co-op.
Ah, not same screen co-op.
No, no couch co-op. No.
Ah, that's
Um,
unfortunate.
yeah, I think couch co-op. I don't know if couch co-op is in there, but I think split screen is in there. Not
Ooh,
sure.
we
Yeah.
could do some share play on that then.
Yeah, maybe. I'd have to check it out. If it's I don't know if it's in there or not. I would have to check. But yeah, they're gonna add some really cool stuff, more damage models, more uh for example, since last year engine modes are banned. So like if you went into qualification, you could use a specific engine mode, meaning giving you more power, for example. They've banned engine modes in Formula One last year, and in this game, you're seeing the same thing happen as well. So there are no engine modes anymore.
Hmm.
So if you, there's like what they're trying to do is they're trying to find a balance between a sim racer and a casual racing game, because they still want to attract casual racers, but at the same time they want to appeal to the sim or the expert racers and also keep them happy. So it's nice to see that there are like a mix of settings in there. You can customize your game a lot. um, so, for example, with the with the engine modes, it means that you have to be a lot more conservative with how you drive. You can't just constantly drive flat out, because eventually you'll run out of fuel and then you won't be able to finish the race. I saw I had that happen to me in 2020, whereas I was cranking up the engine a bit too much, and then I got to the point where just in the last lap I was in the third position, and my fuel ran out. So what happens is your car will drop back to 150 kilometers per hour uh, until you finish. And I lost like 3 or 4 positions on that one, which was a really bummer because I was gonna get like a lot of points if I finished on the third spot. So um, it's cool to see that they're giving you this option to strategize a lot. And besides Formula One, I've been playing Warzone, Rebirth Island. Same old, same old. Some days you win some days you lose some.
Did you participate in the whole 80s hero thing?
Yeah, that's mainly in Verdansk now, and I don't like the Verdansk map. It's so big. You just ran. I feel like you always get randomly sniped, which I do not like. So
Mhm.
in Rebirth Island, because it's like basically Alcatraz Island, it's a lot smaller. It's a lot more fast-paced action. I do see people running around with the John McClane and the Rambo skin, so that's always funny to see. But yeah, I mean, I've started to play it on PC as well for a bit, and I'm not as bad as I expected. It's been a long time since I played shooters on the PC, but I'm doing okay, I guess.
All right. All right, that's cool.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's basically it for me. What have you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of stuff here and there. Still playing Monster Hunter. I played less now. Not because I don't like the game, but I've been having a lot of not great schedules with work. So I come home and I'm just exhausted. Luckily, E3 week is around the corner, so I'll have more time. I always take time off specifically for E3 so I can put all my focus on that, even before we did the podcast. It's just fun to do it that way. Um, Also because all those stuff happened in the evening, and then I don't want to wake up the next day, go to work all groggy because I was up late watching press conferences from video games. Um, I
Life.
finished Uncharted 3.
Oh,
So with this, the Uncharted trilogy collection is complete.
nice. And
I
what'd you
have
think of it?
charted all three games. Um, yeah, it's basically like I said before in a previous episode. One is the worst, second is an improvement, third is the best.
Really?
The final boss is not the best.
I loved the
I mean,
second one the most.
overall. I mean, overall game. Like the second one still has the best boss fight because it's an actual boss fight. The
Oh,
third
because
one did not really have a boss fight, just
yeah,
like the first game, which you'd think they'd learn from that, but no, they
I
didn't.
loved the Lazarevich boss fight. Like,
Yeah, I loved it.
Drake, you think you can stop me?
Yeah, because it's a shooty arena against one big buff guy, and you have to run
Yep,
around avoiding his stuff while also making sure that he can take damage because he can't take damage, at
yep.
least if you shoot at him normally. Um, so that was a fun boss fight. I did not like the ending of 3. Like the ending itself is fine, but the ending sequence of
Mm,
events, the lack of an actual boss fight is kind of disappointing.
yeah.
Um, that it basically all took place in a cutscene, and it's like, well, I didn't do anything, so it's like, what's the point?
Yeah, I felt with three that it strayed off the story too much. Like the part where you're suddenly aboard that cruise ship and stuff like that. I felt like, wow, why am I? Why is this in here? This feels like they're trying to drag the experience out a bit more, you know. And the part with the shanty town with all the containers there and stuff like that. That part felt like too long for me.
They wanted to make it more. This is the most or at least of the three games that came out on PlayStation 3, it's the most cinematic one of them all. Like for example,
Yeah.
when you're in the desert, when you crash land in the desert and you have to walk around, like the camera panning and stuff, it's all very
Yep.
cinematic. If you're not paying attention, you think you can't move, but you have to move, like you
Yep.
said. So that those things are cool. Um, I like the story. Like in general, I like the story. I did not like the sequence how it ended, but I like the story because I think it's a more personal story in terms of Nathan Drake, because it shows more of his experiences, where he came from, um, because they go back to the whole Francis Drake stuff.
Yeah.
You get introduced to other characters. You play as young Drake.
Yep.
You really globetrot in this one. You actually start off with a crew, which is kind of funny because it really does make it feel more like a movie. They have this kind of low rent Jason Statham guy in the beginning. Unfortunately, he gets hurt, so he's not there. You get reintroduced to some characters. I will say this: the one of the last stuff, kind of bit of a spoiler for people. If you haven't, like, skip 30 seconds. The Starting now. the hallucination scene. I legit thought that Sully was dead.
Yeah.
And then it was revealed that he was not dead and that you were hallucinating. And then I was like, was he? Isn't this more part of the hallucination? Wouldn't a hallucination say that it's a hallucination?
I don't
It was
know.
so weird, but it ended up it was not a hallucination. Sully was still alive. End
Yeah.
spoiler. Um, so that was the only weird part. I did not like that part at all because it just felt weird. And then you
Yeah.
had all the it just felt like a really weird sequence. But the
Yeah.
rest of it, I actually really did enjoy. So I think 3 I enjoyed the most overall. Um, 2 I enjoyed mostly the ending. It was way better paced, but still a lot of a lot of um, gunplay. 3 had that as well, but not as much. They actually tried to focus on improving the hand-to-hand combat, which they did. I mean, it's still no Batman or Spider-Man or Shadow of Mordor, but it's better than nothing.
Mm.
Um, so I played that. I finished that. I don't know if I'm gonna tackle Thief's End yet because
Why?
because basically I played the 3 games in succession in kind of a rush. I actually stopped playing Uncharted 3 for a while because I felt a little bit burned out because I started the game, I finished 1, I started 2 right away, finished 2 right away, and then started 3. So I kind of felt like a bit of a fatigue. So I want a
Mm.
little bit of time in between because um I have 4. I don't have the add-on to 4.
That was really good.
So I think I'm gonna give myself some time to breathe. There are other stuff that I was actually supposed to play before Uncharted. So I think I'm gonna focus. I'm either gonna do that or I'm gonna play Persona 5 Golden next because I bought it on discount.
Nice.
Finally, I gave in. Okay, if you're not gonna bring it to Switch, I caved in. I bought it on PlayStation 4. If I'm telling you, Sega, if you bring this game out on PlayStation on Switch, if I get an announcement at E3 that Persona 5 Golden is coming to Switch, I'm going to I'm going to slap someone, anybody. Sorry, just had to get that out. That's probably next. I
You're
played.
so violent, so aggressive. It's probably the games that do that.
That's probably you with your weird analogies about slapping people.
How am I the one that you are the only one that keeps on saying that you will slap people? I have never said that I will slap people for something. I have multiple episodes with evidence in it in which you say that you will do that. Heck, you said it the last episode.
That's probably
You're
true.
just
I don't
such a
know.
violent person. Oh.
I'm not a
For people
violent person.
listening, I'm being forced to do this podcast. If I don't, he will slap me. So please, send help. I need
They
help.
do realize that this is a virtual podcast, so I'm nowhere near you. I'm not forcing you to do anything.
He threatens me every day, and it's just so emotionally. He keeps me hostage mentally. It's just so hard. So please send help quick.
Sure, sure, sure. Outside of that, I played a little bit of Animal Crossing, trying to help my buddy Liam out. Shout outs to Liam. Um, and that's about it. I mean, I played a little bit of no, sorry. I actually played a little bit of what's that game called again? The game that came out recently, the dodgeball game. Knockout City.
And
It's surprisingly fun.
is it EA game, right?
It's an EA Originals game, so it's an indie title.
Ah, okay, okay.
Yeah. It's not free to play, and I don't know why.
I thought it was
20
free to play.
bucks. No,
What?
you have a trial.
Yeah.
You had a trial for 10 days and then they extended that to I think 2 weeks or a month. So you
Okay.
can play it for free now as you're listening to this for at least a little bit longer, but the full game is 20.
Oh, okay. That's a bummer.
But it's structured as something that would benefit from a free to play model.
It looks like it. I thought it was a free to play
Because
game.
you have like a battle pass, you can unlock like outfits, um, and it's not like it's not a pay to win thing because it's literally just your skills.
Mhm.
I am not a big fan of the character aesthetics. The characters are not pretty, but that I don't really care
Okay.
um about how they look. But it is a fun it is a fun play. I played it multiplayer with one of our other Instagram friends that we talked about before, RB Gaming 85. Sorry,
95.
95. Keep saying 85. That's not right. Um, yeah, so we did like a 3-man play, and you could do, and it's crossplay.
Oh,
So
nice.
he was playing on PlayStation. His other friend was playing on PlayStation. I was the only one playing on Switch.
What a surprise.
But it looks fine on Switch, so I don't care. It looks fine. It plays well. Um, it still had weird long ass loading times. Like in general, like when you load into a game, it takes a while to load in. But once
Okay.
you're in, and it's fun times. It's fun times. So
Nice.
basically, it's 3-man dodgeball. So it's 2 teams of 3. You have 2 health pips. If you get hit twice, um, uh, your team gets a point. Um, then you respawn, and then you go at
Hmm.
it until the first team to get to 10 points wins. It gets really heated. It gets really heated, and there are already some teams that are really good. But you can do different stuff. You can have a homing attack. Um, you can lock on to people. You have to lock on to throw, otherwise you'll just miss. So you use the lock on so that you can throw it. If someone is locked onto you, the borders of the screen turn red so that you know that someone is targeting you. You just don't
Hmm.
know where they are. So you better be ready with the catch ball or with the catch button so that you can catch the ball as it comes to you, or dodge in on time so that it misses you.
Okay, nice.
You can also put a little English on that ball, and like it'll do a curved shot, which is really cool. Um, you don't have a double jump, but you do have a glider that pops out when you try to do a double jump.
Hmm.
So instead of that, you just glide. You can use your teammates or the enemy as balls. There's an item that you can throw to an enemy, and then they get locked into a ball cage, and then you
Hmm.
can use that to throw them at their teammates,
Wow.
and it explodes. You can use your teammate, and then you can use a special attack, which is really cool. Like you can have different things. You can unlock different things, like a homing attack. You can do like a giant bomb thing, so that it has an area of effect. Um, yeah, it's a really fun game. Like I totally recommend trying it out. Do the trial. If you like it, it's only $20. My money is that this game might go free to play in the future. But
It
right now
looked
it's
like
20
it.
bucks.
Yeah.
Again, it really just should have EA should have just ponied up a little bit more money so that they could do it free to play. Um, and then just charge for a battle pass. Um, but yeah, I think that's about it. So I played that, and like that's it. I didn't play anything a lot for a long time. I did a few things here and there. The only thing I spent the most time on was Uncharted, and at most that was like 3 hours.
Okay.
So
Well, at least you finished it.
at least I finished it.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Alrighty,
Will you do
then
the honors?
I will. I would love to do the honors. So, as always, thank you everybody for tuning in to this episode of Game Rivals. It's really exciting seeing as E3 starts. So, you will probably be seeing a lot more drops in the coming days because we'll be covering E3 in our own way. So keep an eye out on our socials, mostly the Instagrams, because you'll probably get the newest thing, or check your podcast apps because we'll be pushing some more episodes in the coming days, which I'm really excited for. So thank you as always. You can find us on all your favorite podcasting platforms: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Overcast, Google Play, Anchor. You can find us on Twitter, game underscore rivals underscore. You can find Maximilian at Maximilian. You can email us, game rivals feedback at gmail.com. Um, You can find us on Instagram, game at Game Rivals. That's where I'm mostly at, and at Maximilian_X. I think you're gonna post like a predictions video. You said, right?
By the time this is out, it should be out.
Okay, well, keep your eye out for that. And I think that's it.
That's it.
That's it. We will be having a guest for 2 episodes, so definitely tune in for that because it'll be a nice, fun discussion. This man is a Xbox fan, so he will be able to give some counterweight if I start bashing Microsoft, which I don't intend to, but you never know. If they pull that Kojima out of their head, I will probably freak out and I will get upset. And when people get upset, then they do weird stuff or crazy stuff, or they say stuff that they shouldn't. So they better not. And on that note, I have been and always will be Sean Templar.
And I have been and will always be Maximilian X.
And we'll catch you on the next one.
Later.